Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew, man? We're back today. We have 10 people who tried to warn us about terrible disasters.
You said,
All right, let's get into this. Because it's a lot of times these be what we all call conspiracies, and like, is it really gonna? And then stuff happen. They be like, see, try to tell you, we already knew it. But hey, with that being said, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box
down below.
You already know where to go if you want the first part. You gotta do it. Check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's visuals,
liking it with a thumbs up.
How many of these you think we have heard about?
Maybe 2 or 3.
I'm gonna go 1 or 2. I'm gonna go lower than you though.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go a little bit lower because I don't know. You never know. We might have heard all 10
Maybe.
in our lifetime. But hey, let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get it.
It has been cold for several days, and it was getting colder.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're
Back
looking at
up!
individuals who correctly forecasted catastrophic events.
He was among the first people to see the bin Laden threat.
Stanley Adams, the Titanic sinking. The fate of the RMS Titanic seemed all but impossible. After all, the massive British ocean liner had garnered a reputation as being unsinkable, but it could not withstand the impact of the iceberg it hit.
Is there anyone there?
Yes, for QC.
Iceberg, right ahead.
Thank you.
Hours before this collision, Stanley Adams, the wireless operator of another ship, the SS Masaba, messaged the crew, warning of...
See, stop looking. Sorry, y'all. I had to get a career. Oh man, she had to switch our headphones, y'all. She over here. She like I can't hear.
I can only hear it out of one. I was like, why is it just coming out of one?
Because you only had it. You have pulled up.
Whatever. Thanks.
Adams, the wireless operator of another ship, the SS Masaba, messaged the crew, warning of, quote, heavy pack ice and greater number large icebergs in the Atlantic Ocean. But while Titanic wireless operator Jack Phillips received and acknowledged the message, it never made it to the bridge.
Thanks. Once Phillips had replied to Adams's message, there was no communication between the two ships for around 10 minutes.
However, Captain Edward Smith had ignored prior caution about the ice. Had he heeded these warnings, the untimely deaths of him and more than 1,000 other people on board could have been prevented.
I wonder, did they ever recover a lot of the bodies, or is some of those bodies still down in the ocean?
That's a good question.
That's
like,
a
of all the
great
times,
question.
I've never thought to, like, look that up.
Well, the recovery, were they able to recover? Because I don't know why in my head, because they never was able to recover the boat, right? And I'm like, 9 times out of 10, there's people still stuck down there. Damn, it said most of them?
It says only a fraction of the bodies from the Titanic were recovered, and most of the victims remain lost at sea.
Wow. Just imagine how many, because the bottom of the sea is very cold, right?
So in total, 328 bodies were recovered, with 209.
There's still a lot that's gone.
With 209. Find the rest of much of time.
So basically, out of 300, they was able to recover. Some people were still alive. Some were deceased, and the rest of them were lost at sea. Out of the 1,000, you get what I'm saying?
So,
all right, looking for 2.
It's 119 were lost at sea, something like that. I don't even think they probably know the number.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I don't know.
But
because I just seen 3 different numbers.
Just imagine, like, parts of the Titanic that's still in the bottom of the ocean, right? And there's still bodies still within it. Froze. Because the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Because, the submersible went down there. How many, like, I don't think we got technology that probably can really get down there to be able to do a recovery of the... You think we ever will be able to recover the Titanic?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
Captain, sir.
What I need that for?
Harry Markopolos, the Bernie Madoff.
Did you ever like have you watched the Titanic from like beginning to end? Because it's so long, bro.
Yeah, I have.
I did
It's
as a kid, bro.
Yeah, but it's been a while, but yeah, I have.
Ponzi scheme. Bernie Madoff ran an investment firm that swindled roughly $65 billion from clients who had been led to believe he was helping them grow their nest eggs through shrewd financial management.
With promised returns of around 18%, entire families jumped in.
Instead, he was depositing all of his clients' money in a separate bank account rather than investing it, while having employees fabricate trade reports in a giant version of a Ponzi scheme.
This guy was just as calm as a cucumber. I didn't see any sign, and usually, I mean, that should have been sort of a sign to me in retrospect, too.
In 1999, financial analyst Harry Markopolos
said what?
He got one of them faces that you just can't trust.
found very strong evidence of fraud, arguing it was mathematically impossible for his reported gains to be legitimate.
Harry started engineering it, looking at it, and dissecting the returns, and he's, after 4 hours of work or so, came up and said, Frank, this is a Ponzi scheme.
From 2000 to 2005, he tried to warn the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission of Madoff's deception. While Madoff eventually admitted to his con in 2008, he could have been stopped much sooner had Markopolos been listened to.
Nothing phases me. After Madoff, nothing ever will. Because I saw the absolute worst part of humanity, that case.
Li Wenliang, COVID-19. On December 30th, 2019, the Centers for Disease Prevention and Control in Wuhan, China sent out warnings to all area hospitals about a mysterious trend of what they claimed was pneumonia.
According to authorities, the number of cases has increased to 44, with 11 of them in serious condition.
However, Li Wenliang, an ophthalmologist at the Central Hospital of Wuhan, received a report mentioning, quote, SARS coronavirus. Li shared this information in a private WeChat group with fellow medical school alumni.
Li sent a group message saying that a test result from a patient quarantined at the hospital where he worked showed a patient had a coronavirus.
Though he specifically asked for the information to not be shared outside of the group, it soon spread far and wide. He was reprimanded by his employers and was forced into signing a letter of admonition, which he later posted to social media.
Chinese state media first reported that Li was one of several whistleblowers silenced by police. Calls for Li and the others to be vindicated grew online.
The following month, Li contracted COVID-19 from a patient, and on February 7th, 2020, he passed away at age 34.
Wow.
Ferdinand Foch, World War II.
Damn.
Wow.
So is he one of those who probably was experimenting with it, possibly, in the beginning, to even know what it was in the first place?
I don't know about that.
You get what I'm saying, though?
I get what you're asking.
What asking, like, I don't know.
Implying.
I need to do more research on that part, but with it being so new, I don't think a lot of information probably is out there.
That's sad, though.
The global conflict lasting from 1914 until 1918 was originally commonly referred to as the Great War and the war to end all wars.
The man who endured the war at its worst was everlastingly differentiated from everyone, except his fellow soldiers.
This, of course, was not the case, as World War II broke out a little over 2 decades later. One person who could see it coming was Ferdinand Foch, a French general who served as the Western Front's supreme Allied commander during World War I. Foch was involved in the Treaty of Versailles, which he believed should have been much harsher on Germany.
The German army was restricted to only 100,000 men. The Navy could now only have 6 battleships and no submarines.
He's also been alleged to have referred to it as, quote, an armistice for 20 years, which essentially was proven true. Foch passed away in 1929, meaning he didn't live to see his post-war concerns realized. Ivor von Heerden, Hurricane Katrina. In August 2005, Hurricane Katrina swept through the southern United States, but by far the most devastation happened to the city of New Orleans.
Now, I remember all of it. They were 100% warned about this. And they knew that this was going to be probably the worst hurricane to hit the U.S. In recent memory. And it was like, we already ready for it.
Yeah.
It was like, no, this one's going to be worse. Yeah. One of the worst. Oh, no, we ain't gonna take it serious. It's just going to be another storm that comes through. And yeah.
which suffered catastrophic flooding when the levees built to prevent that were destroyed by the storm.
You know the reason why the looters got out of control? Because we had most of our resources saving people, thousands of people.
One person who could see this coming was Ivor van Heerden, then deputy director of the Louisiana State University Hurricane Center.
Now, this is a slide from 1999 when we first got started. This is what we were predicting. This is what we were trying to sell. That a storm like such as Katrina would be a catastrophe.
4 years before Katrina hit, van Heerden had been sounding alarm bells about the impact of a potential storm and how the levees were not up to par, blaming the federal government for their lack of concern. Van Heerden later published a book about how his worst suspicions were realized, titled The Storm.
This is a major American city, protected by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, supposed to be state-of-the-art engineering, and it failed so dismally.
Dan Applegate, Turkish Airlines Flight 981 crash. When it comes to aviation, safety is everything. And that doesn't just go for the people flying the plane. On March 3, 1974, Turkish Airlines Flight 981 departed from Istanbul Yeşilköy Airport, headed to London Heathrow Airport. An intermediate stop was made at Paris's Orly Airport.
Now, when it arrived to Paris, 50 of the passengers disembarked the aircraft, and they boarded another 216 passengers.
Upon its second takeoff, the rear left cargo door blew off, starting a chain reaction that resulted in the plane crashing into the Ermenonville forest, killing all 346 people on board.
It slams into the ground with almost 800 kilometers per hour. Because of that speed and the force of the impact, the aircraft is shattered into thousands of small fragments, and there's no fire breaking out just because of the sheer force of the impact.
The door's design flaw made it appear secure even when improperly locked. The baggage handler, unaware they needed to inspect the latches, failed to do so.
And he also said that he hadn't checked the little verification window that had been installed. The reason for that was that no one had actually instructed him on why he should be doing it. He didn't know what to look for. He had only seen other people do it.
2 years earlier, Convair engineer Dan Applegate had warned that such a failure was inevitable without critical design upgrades. Sadly, he was right.
The new design made sure that the mechanism wouldn't stop until the latches were in their perfectly close position.
Jan Hatzius, the 2007...
True. That would make sense, but I know they'll be like, we'll delay everything because then we have to go through and check everything.
Okay, do it.
What's so crazy is there's been so many reports of plane crashes lately. That I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's more now that's been reported. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's always been like things happen, but not reported as worldwide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now it seems like it's damn near every day I hear a story.
I do. I hear.
If not every day, like 2 times a week, at least 2-3 times a week, if not every day. Now, it's like it's getting out of hand. It's like, what the hell is really going on with these aircrafts?
Facts.
And then,
2008 financial crisis. A whole host of combined issues, from predatory lending to lack of proper oversight, led to the worst global financial crisis since the Great Depression.
All transactions came to a halt, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions.
The hedge funds who had assets with Lehman in London discovered overnight, to their complete horror, that they couldn't get those assets back.
In 2007, Jan Hatzius, the chief economist of Goldman Sachs, said a full-blown recession was unlikely. However, he argued it was still possible, pointing to a variety of potential factors. Indeed, the economy's downward slide persisted, and in January 2008, Goldman Sachs predicted a recession was coming.
The red flag is basically the increase in the unemployment rate, which now has totals about 1/3 of a percentage point on a 3-month average basis.
Though he was by no means the only economist forecasting a recession, Hatzius's predictions were the most accurate. Though Hatzius's warnings alone wouldn't be enough to prevent the economic collapse experienced around the world, they serve as an important reminder as to the crucial importance of economists.
We can have a lasting economic recovery in the sense that, the economy grows through 2010. We expect it to grow, but we don't expect it to grow that quickly.
Nikola Tesla, fossil fuel risks.
You think we might go through something like that again?
Possibly.
I believe we will.
Yeah.
I believe
honestly, I can't sit here and say no. That would never happen again.
Not like, but I feel like it's deemed to happen.
Yeah, most
like
definitely.
in a like not like far down the line, but like more like give it a couple years and I can see it happening. Give it a few years and I'm like we going through what happened in 08.
Sadly.
You know, like I said, I was the kid in 08 when it happened. So I don't like have memory of like of it affecting and how it affected people because I can't remember like how like I just like you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I know what to expect. You know, I had to talk to my mom like how was it in 08? Like how like when it comes down to the financial aspect. But I do feel like that's around the time she lost her job. And she had to go and went into a different career path. Wasn't around 08. Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was around 08 when she went through that. Yeah. I was still in school. And around that time when she went into the more criminal justice side, because those are more secure jobs, I feel, than what she was doing previously.
I don't know what she was doing, but yeah. Do I? I don't think I do.
Yeah, you do. I told you about it.
Oh.
You just know her previous job because that's what she was doing before, like up until she got sick. She had been doing that. Yeah.
By far the most famous individual on this list, Nikola Tesla is one of the most influential minds of his era and beyond.
He experimented with a system of wireless lighting, giving several public demonstrations.
In addition to receiving more than 200 patents for his inventions, Tesla also had very shrewd insights about the long-term risks of burning fossil fuels for energy. These were non-renewable resources that would eventually run out, even if it wasn't in his lifetime. In 1915, Tesla wrote it would need to be curbed, quote, in the interest of coming generations, advocating instead for a switch to renewable energy sources, particularly solar power.
Electrons are the only moving parts in a solar cell, and they all go back where they came from. There's nothing to get worn out or used up.
Unfortunately, Tesla's warnings were not heeded. Had he been listened to, there's no telling how much better off the global environment would be thanks to renewable energy. Roger Beaujolais, the Challenger disaster. On the morning of January 28, 1986, millions of Americans turned on their TVs to watch the Space Shuttle Challenger take off. What should have been a day of triumph became one of tragedy when the vessel broke apart 73 seconds after launch, resulting in the deaths of all 7 crew members.
When we first saw the explosion, we didn't know exactly what had happened. And then we realized, I think we were trying to talk ourselves out of it really being the disaster that it was.
In the months ahead of the launch, Roger Beaujolais, a mechanical engineer whose company, Morton Thiokol, was involved in the launch, argued that the cold weather conditions of the January launch would likely lead to the failure of crucial O-rings, and subsequently, the whole vessel.
That's when Roger Beaujolais got very vocal about, as far as he was concerned, if you look at those, it's the influence of temperature.
But the dire warnings of Beaujolais and others to cancel the launch were ignored, and his grim prediction sadly came to realization.
This was a meeting where the determination was to launch, and it was up to us to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was not safe to do so.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe.
That's sad. I know about that situation where did that happen in Houston?
I don't know where it happened at, but I do recall it.
You sure?
Am I sure that I don't know? I don't remember where it was at.
Let me see.
I mean, I don't remember it happening. Not, I remember it happening because I wasn't even born. But I remember hearing about it. If that makes sense. Like I've heard about it before.
Trying to see. No, it happened in Florida. Atlantic coast of Florida. What's the one in Houston then I'm thinking about? Let me see.
I think that's the one. I don't know.
Let's see.
You said what?
I don't know. I'm thinking about.
I feel like I remember seeing a picture.
Space Shuttle Columbia disaster in 2003 happened in atmosphere over Texas and Louisiana, killing all 7 astronauts on board. That's the one I'm thinking about because we were alive. I'm saying we like 1986. Neither one of us was thought of. Like
86, I probably was. No, I was
no, I
wasn't thought of.
None of y'all were thought of. No, none of y'all were thought of.
My sister was.
alive.
My sister was already born.
Yeah.
Was,
But yeah, none of me, neither one, me or my sister I raised with. My other sisters.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of that. I just remember. I feel like I've seen that photo before, but I remember like 7 of something.
But there's still some.
Okay, I don't know.
That one was 1986. I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, that's right. Because at first I remember having, but I wasn't even alive.
I remember. I was a kid. We was kids, but I remember it happening. I was like, oh wow. But yeah.
Settings and switch on notifications. John P. O'Neill, the September 11th attacks.
Yes.
The attacks of September 11th, 2001 sent shockwaves throughout the world.
We heard a big bang, and then we saw smoke coming out, and everybody started running out, and we saw the plane on the other side of the building.
It may have seemed like it came out of nowhere, but John Patrick O'Neill certainly saw it coming. The FBI agent specialized in counterterrorism and helped with the apprehension of the mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing.
One of the agents asked me if he could take the blindfold off Yusef, and I said, sure, go right ahead. And it was ironic because as he finally focused his eyes, we were right adjacent to the World Trade Center. And he kind of focused in on that, and of course one of the agents sitting next to him gave him a little bit of a nudge and said, you see, it still stands.
He would later zero in on the activities of Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda.
My dad had a lot of video of Osama bin Laden. Whatever was out there was actually in his apartment. He studied him several times, watched the videos I know several times.
But his warnings of a potential attack on U.S. soil were ignored, resulting in his leaving the FBI. On August 23, 2001, O'Neill started a new job as chief of security at the World Trade Center, and he tragically lost his life in the attacks the following month. Do you remember where you were when any of these disasters were first reported? Let us know in the comments.
And he said, I sense a shift, and I think things are going to happen. And I said, when? He said, I don't know, but soon.
Wow.
They actually say a lot of people actually knew that
something
9/11 was going to happen. A lot of people knew. They were informed previously ahead of time.
That's
warned
crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
Of an attack. And I don't know if they knew precisely where they were. Nah, they probably did know. I don't give them that out. They probably did know that they were targeting that.
Yeah.
That's sad though, man.
I do remember that one where I was at, but the other one.
Oh, you're talking about 9/11? Yeah, for sure. I remember what class I was in and everything. I remember hearing about it. They immediately turned it on the TVs because every room had the little box TV. Had the little box TV in the corner. They turned the TV on, and literally every time I heard a plane like outside the window, I would literally look outside and look, is it gonna crash? I was a child.
Yeah.
And I would just look, is it gonna crash too? Like I remember, bro. I remember in class I was in. I remember like the impact and how nervous everyone was at that time.
Facts.
Tragic, man. But hey, man, y'all spam us up in the comments. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it for us in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how I go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are
Kid and C.
We out.
Peace.
Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me.